Hey guys, welcome back to Astrea's A Broken Heart. And okay, this is it. We're at the finale of season 1. And I have everything squared away. All of these are up to the episode 10. So we're ready to go no matter what they throw at us. We're not going to miss any information. We're not going to miss any scenes. Because I have them all ready to go. About 4 of them are in Faith. 2 are in Skeptic. So we're not missing anything. Okay? So we are prepared. Hopefully. We're going in. Okay, we worked hard for this moment. I have about 2 hours to play. I got my water ready to go because my throat still hurts. But we're doing this. I haven't read one of these in a while. And if it gets really scary, close your eyes. Oh boy. That makes it sound like something is going to be scary. And I'm nervous now. Well, we already know stuff's going to go down because this is the finale. So I'm nervous, but okay. Light and Darkness. Clair Obscur. Warning. This episode contains graphic descriptions of violence. Please read on with caution. I swear, one of the worst episodes was episode 9. It's so long. Because after having to play it over and over again, it's so long. Mostly because of that restaurant scene. It just goes on forever. And dude was like bringing out bloody crap to eat. That episode was a lot. Okay, anyway. Melody stood on the threshold of the open door leading to the backyard. She felt the cool night breeze on her face. Okay, so this is right after the guy that we saved. He took off because they're sketchy. Fair. And right now she was reflecting on what, like, the real secrets. Now she was starting to feel some type of way about, you know, the secrets that they're still keeping, and which I was concerned about. She gazed into the dense greenery of the garden and tried to decide whether to take a step forward or backward. I can go to my apartment right now. There'll be nothing possessed, dangerous, strange, or frightening. Are you sure? They are following you. They're trying to kill you, and that hasn't stopped. Even with the most recent attack that happened in episode 9, the lady was like, yeah, you too. I'm gonna kill you as well. So I don't know if running off by yourself is a good idea. There will be no innuendos, sarcastic comments, doubts, or forbidden desires. There will be no anything. A bird chirped loudly in the garden, sounding almost desperate. It hopped onto a bare branch and studied Melody intently. Does it want something from me? The visitor chirped again. It turned its tiny head as if searching for someone, but the gardener only responded with silence. Where's your flock? Why are you here alone? The bird tilted his head as if asking her the same thing. I used to have a flock, but even here I don't feel as lonely as I did there. Her decision came naturally. Melody indulged a childish, unfulfilled dream of finding a home and stepped back into the house. Good choice. Okay? As sketchy as they are, they have proven to have had your back. A wolf came out of the bushes, scaring away the bird that had saddened her. He sat a little further away from the door. Brenda! If I tell him to bring back Harry the runaway, will he do it? Yeah, but maybe not in one piece, so let's let Harry do his thing. It's his choice. Somehow confident that he would, Melody bit her lip. I always wanted a cat, but I was afraid I wouldn't have time to take care of it. And now I have a pet, and I don't even know what to expect from him. The parallel between the wolf and the residents of the house drew itself. A nervous nausea rose in her throat. Axel came closer, sat down, and waited for affection. He acts like a house dog, but he's not a dog, and he could tear me apart like Otto if I do something wrong. As if sensing her mood, the wolf flattened his ears. Oh. Sorry, Axel. Melody watched the hunched beast leave and slumped her own shoulders guiltily. You didn't even give him a small pet! Okay, I understand being scared, but come on, you already pet him before. Everything that's happening here is very difficult for me, easier than I could have imagined. It's easier if you believe in the nonsense, so I'm assuming that this bottom one is faith. It's like everything my colleagues believe in is contagious, and their thoughts and views surprise me less and less. Melody felt the immature, floody desire to just go to her bedroom. She peeked into Mikhail's office. Inside the room, the meeting of the Astrea employees continued without her or the rescued man. The lively conversation stopped. Melody felt surprised looks on her. From the doorway, she briefly and simply explained the reason for her intrusion. Intrusion? Am I part of the group or not? And if I am, then it's not an intrusion. Harry left. Harry? You don't even remember his name? And that's why he left. The confusion on Cassiel's face made a wave of irritation wash over her. Melody, where did he go? I don't know, probably to his competition. Your honest speech didn't convince him. Maybe you should have come up with something more interesting? Like offering him a job as my bodyguard and pretending that you were really happy to have him here. The thought that slipped out filled the room with a ringing silence. Mel looked at Mikhail expectantly, but received no answer to her barb. Castiel, try to find him. I don't think he went far. And? You don't have to go easy on him this time. The cold attachment with which Mikhail gave the order made Melody unconsciously back away. Castiel ignored the evaluate's reaction. He rushed past, hastening to carry out his orders. I'll try to help. Good. Let me know if you learn anything. Melody didn't understand why everyone was just dispersing. She glared angrily at Raphael as he left. But he, like Mikhail, obviously felt no shame. As he left, he threw her an offer that she immediately wanted to refuse. Come see me later, please. I want to talk to you. Did they even hear me? They're not making this easy, are they? They're being a bit annoying. Yeah, I'll think about it. She didn't plan on having this conversation, but she didn't want to offend Raphael. He's always been kind to me. Yeah, and only me, which is weird. What do they want? It's starting to make me... I'm starting to get a bit put off by you too. Once alone with Mikhail, Melody crossed her arms over her chest. She tried to put a stern expression on her face. Lord, I can never take this girl seriously. Why do you need Harry? Why didn't you just hand him over to Felonia? He would have stayed at the station until morning and then gone out of town to his competition. The police could have escorted him and put him on a plane. Mikhail interrupted... Ugh. Hold on. Anyway, Mikhail interrupted her flowing stream of words with a single sentence. We wanted to save him. You really don't act like it. Saving him from his attacker is certainly noble, but holding him by force? Would anyone in their right mind voluntarily lock themselves in a prison? I see. Do you feel like you're in a prison? Sometimes. Mikhail's offended expression managed to appeal to her conscience. No one here has actually locked me in a room. I need to try to understand him, calm down, stand your ground. don't know where to go with this one. Maybe this? After all, no matter what Harry said, no one in this house has done anything bad to me. Yeah, but why? Especially when they act like that with everybody else. Melody sighed and lowered her arms. I'm confused and tired, Mikkel. And Harry added to my doubts. Whatever he said, we mean no harm to him or to you. You say that, but you just said this time you don't have to go easy on him. So, how can you say that you don't mean any harm to him? That doesn't ring true. I understand. I think. And as for your comment, there's no need to accuse us of special treatment. Did you tell the others that I was supposed to stay? I did. But I didn't say we were supposed to charm you. I don't think everyone will admit it, but I assure you that your presence here is welcome. You breathe life into this house, Melody. For many years, it's been a bastion of melancholy and oppressive anticipation. Anticipation of what? Of disaster. But the more we resist the beast, the better our chances. That's why it's so important that we protect you and Harry. Do you believe that the evil they worship is real? It is real. And it will not stop at the deaths of a few people. But how do you know? Our organization was created to protect people from threats that no police force can guard against. He is the greatest threat to humanity, and our main goal is to oppose him. His vague explanations were of little comfort, but yeah, that's pretty much what's on my face right now. It's like, he says I'm free, but immediately asks that freedom is dangerous to me. He's willing to answer all my questions, but his answers only create more mystery. I'm so tired of this. So what is my role in this agency? Is my help just a circus act? Mikkel stepped a little closer to her. He almost allowed himself an unexpected liberty. His hand reached for hers, but reason overcame emotion and stopped it short. Did he want to touch me? Is that because I'm playing his safe out right now? I'm sorry that my decision led us to such an unpleasant conversation. His deliberate restraint was starting to get on her nerves. She wanted to finally see his true feelings. If you're sorry, then give me a direct answer. We really need an employee with strong empathy, someone capable of understanding other people. And I would like you to continue your work. Melody could no longer fight for the truth or force it out of Mikkel, so she gave up. Fine, we'll just call it a happy accident. Mikkel smiled sadly and hurried to end the delicate topic of discussion. I don't believe in coincidences, but if it really brought us together, then I'm grateful for it. Outside, the garden leaves rustled. Mikkel looked at them thoughtfully. He said distantly, "Will you promise me that I won't have to worry about you, at least for tonight?" I'm not going anywhere. I hope that your dreams will be pleasant despite everything, Melody. I hope so too. Melody nodded and trudged to her room. Her habit of listening to her feelings didn't work this time. For some reason, her emotions changed at a rapid pace in this house. How have I become so suggestible? As soon as Mikkel said that everything was fine, her mind instead loosened its grip and gave way to doubt. And these people are so masterful at giving others everything they need, yet they were looking for an empath to join their team? Before reaching her door, Melody paused outside Raphael's bedroom. Should I go in? Go to your room. Melody wanted to knock, but the door suddenly opened on its own. Come in, please. Was he waiting for me behind the door? As she entered the room, she looked around awkwardly. The box remained on the chair, reminding her of the real danger she had narrowly avoided. And my photo would already be lying with the other evidence. Melody was reluctant to even approach the gruesome box where dozens of corpses had been captured on film and buried. She sat down on the edge of the bed. So what did you want to talk about? Raphael took on the dresser and intertwined his long fingers. I can see that you're struggling. The fact that you didn't tell us about Harry right away only confirms my suspicions. And I'm not blaming you, no. I want you to trust us and be on our side. It's not that simple. That's why I'm asking you to share your doubts and questions with me. I don't want you to search for answers on your own. You may endanger yourself and others. She immediately understood the reference to her escape from his room, but she needed to clarify who the others were. Others? Do you mean Harry? Raphael nodded cautiously. Still, he voiced his thoughts directly. I'm afraid if Cassio doesn't find him, the cult followers will. The threat seemed a bit far-fetched to Melody. But that woman's at the station right now. That woman is just one of many. As you already know that, though. Come on. If the hunt is on, his chances are very slim. His chances of escape? Of survival. The confidence with which Raphael said this made the blood drain from her face. I'm sorry, but it's true. So what am I supposed to ask so I can calm down, Raphael? How did you know who the next victim would be? Are you sure you're going to give me an honest answer? Raphael stood up and took a cautious step toward her. I just knew, Melody. So no, not an answer. Sometimes I feel something is going to happen, and it does. I think she has to be one of my favorite main characters. I don't know. She's just silly and goofy, but like sometimes I just feel like we're right on the same wavelength. Like, really, bro? Oh my gosh. Are you a clairvoyant or something? Not exactly. My abilities are limited to the cult's influence. What kind of nonsense is this? So you can only see the future if it's related to the beast. The future is cloudy and changeable. Our decisions alter it. Well, I believe you now. You answered just as evasively as all clairvoyants. Raphael smiled sadly and came even closer. Now only one step separated them. I'm glad you find it amusing. Amusing? I'm just shocked that you can say it so seriously. A belated thought suddenly struck her. Maybe Raphael isn't sick. Maybe he just predicted his death? There's a chance that he isn't dying. The agony of hope seized her so quickly that it was hard to breathe. But how do I ask him about it? Melody searched for the right words. She looked into Raphael's green eyes and changed her mind about asking her question. She no longer wanted to talk about death or finding out what Raphael was dying of. She wanted to talk about life and believed that there was plenty of it for everyone. Okay. You think this is romance? It might not be. But just to be safe, let's do a different one. Okay. Raphael, read your fortune. That sounds romantic. Raphael hadn't expected this suggestion from her. At first he was taken aback, but then his face lit up with a skeptical smile. I don't think you can. Oh, if you can, then so can I. Oh my gosh, I love when he smiles. Do you need any tools, cards, bums? Do you need them? No. Then I can do without them too. Give me your hand. Raphael crouched down so that he was level with Melody. He obediently held out his hand to her. I try not to look into my own future. It's more important to look at the present. Don't worry, I'll look into it for you. Melody held his hand in one of hers and traced a lifeline with her thumb. What do you see? I see someone very noisy. Someone who often invades your personal space. Melody narrowed her eyes mysteriously and lowered her voice. I think it's a man, and his name starts with a D. Really? I thought you were talking about yourself. How rude! I said often, not once. But we're talking about the future. Melody suppressed a smile and traced the line a little further. I see a huge hall, and everyone is jumping to their feet and shouting your name. Raphael! Raphael! If you're hinting at my violin playing, people don't usually shout at those kinds of concerts. They're more reserved. Melody didn't admit defeat. She clicked her tongue softly and raised an eyebrow. Is it just me or are you being skeptical? God forbid, Melody. I believe you. It was hard to tell who was trying to distract whom from heavy thoughts, but in the end, they both felt better. And whatever the future holds, it's not worth sacrificing the present for. Don't shut yourself off, Raphael. The people around you are always ready to support you. You know that, right? Raphael lifted her eyes and replied with surprising seriousness. I know. Thank you for looking behind the veil of mystery for me. You're welcome. We're friends after all. Okay, so you can close it off with a nice little friend zone. Okay. So I know I can safely choose this on all the routes. To be distracted from his better thoughts, he really appreciates you. The palm reading was over, but Melody was in no hurry to let go of Raphael's hand. Do you see something else? Holding his hand any longer felt too intimate. Your next choice will significantly affect your relationship. Okay. Alright, we go. Melody covers his hand with a... Oh no, okay. So that's the romance music. The other one is just like emotional music. Okay, we gotta pick up on the music cues. Melody covered his hand with hers. She tore her gaze from their intertwined hands and looked into Raphael's eyes. I see life. She couldn't seem to warm his cool skin. Melody squeezed his fingers tighter. Just life? Yes. And I'm not looking any further. His pale skin seemed even whiter in the moonlight, making her heart ache. He shouldn't bury himself alive. He has no right. I can be bright and passionate, like the hottest day. Or it can be calm and gentle, like a starry night. Her voice trembled treacherously. It could be anything, Raphael. It is yours alone. Suddenly, Melody found herself completely undone. If Raphael's hands weren't holding hers, they would surely begin to shake. Why do I care so much about what happens to this man? I'm not the master of my fate. I can't do whatever I want. Melody was angry at herself for these strange feelings and at him for denying them. She almost shouted, "Yes, you can." Imagine that there are no missions imposed on you, like you don't know anything about the future except that you have one. Imagine that your life is in your hands right now, Raphael. Just imagine that and tell me what you want. Raphael gently freed his hands from her grip. Melody bit her lip in frustration. Why does he confine himself with these restrictions? Even if he has less than a week to live, isn't that a reason to live life to the fullest? Melody was about to leave. She was about to abandon his pathetic attempt to provoke any emotion for Raphael, but he managed to surprise her. Suddenly and very gently, his hand came to rest on her face. Tenderly, almost weightlessly. That is no reason to be angry at the world. It is no reason to close your eyes to what is destined for you, Melody. It is no reason to dive headfirst into the abyss and pretend that consequences don't concern you. Did you figure out that I know? But if... Gently interrupting her, Raphael smiled and allowed himself to place a second hand on her face. I like to experience all possible emotions, Melody, from tenderness to adoration. I like to fight not for others, but for myself. And if my life were in my hands, I'd like to taste it. His ambiguous words and his closeness made her heart beat a little faster. Swallowing, Melody gazed at Raphael's lips. She whispered so quietly that she wasn't sure if it was out loud at all. Then taste it. Enchanted and confused by this game, Raphael leaned toward her lips. Melody had no time to realize what was happening. His soft, sensual lips found hers too quickly. They covered hers in a tender, gentle kiss. Is this our first kissing scene? Or did we end up kissing David in the police room? I don't think we did though. God, what are we doing? Raphael pulled away and looked into her eyes. His own eyes were wide open, as if he hadn't expected himself to do something like this. Is he already regretting this? Melody parted her lips. She tried to find the words to turn the innocent kiss into something less meaningful, but her mind was eerily silent, only her heart pounding in a frantic rhythm. How do I turn this into a joke now? But Raphael suddenly freed her from her torment. He reached for her. This is going too far. Do I want this? No, stop. Her mind fell silent under the weight of her emotions, and Melody leaned into him. Her hands moved to his neck, her fingers tangling in his soft hair. Raphael kissed her again, urgently, like a man dying of thirst. Desperately, as if it were the last time. Her slightly parted lips didn't stop his tongue from slipping between them, and for some reason Melody didn't want to resist. Raphael held her tighter and pulled her closer, forcing her to grip his shoulders. The unexpected passion made her dizzy and left no room for jokes. Maybe I'm dreaming? Raphael kissed her hungrily, crushing her lips but sending a pleasant warmth through her body. I don't want to stop him. It was only when she felt her body slowly tilt toward the bed under his weight that Melody jerked upward. The slight movement was enough to bring Raphael to his senses. He pulled away abruptly, jumping to his feet and running a hand through his hair. Melody, forgive me. I don't know what came over me. He reached out to help her, then quickly withdrew his hand, as if afraid to touch her and lose control again. Now he feared me like the plague. Melody scolded herself for their foolish conversation. She bit her lip, still burning from the passionate kiss. I'm sorry, Raphael. I never should have brought this up. Ooh. Maybe not end the conversation on that note. Goodness. Okay. I wanted to... Melody stammered over her words. She was completely at a loss. What did I want? What was my goal? Oh, just go, Raphael. Melody didn't wait for an answer. She almost ran to her room. Seeing Raphael's bewildered face was unbearable. What just happened? Melody rushed into her room and clutched her head. We really kissed. She caught her breath and tried to make sense of her feelings. I like that kiss. I wasn't expecting Raphael to be the first person that we kissed. He is, right? And how am I supposed to work with Raphael after this? He was clearly distressed by his behavior. Oh, maybe that's what she said. She was like, tried to backtrack because he seemed shocked and bewildered. Suddenly a completely different face flashed before her mind's eye. It seems I've complicated things now. Whose face? Whose face? I'm pretty sure I'm only romancing Raphael in this world, I think. Ooh. Melody didn't know what to think. She stared out the window. The gloomy garden immediately reminded her of Harry, as if it had been waiting for her to return. With each passing second, the chances of Harry actually coming back diminished. I only waited a few minutes. He could only have gotten to Astrea's statue in that time. Besides, someone who doesn't know the place can easily get lost in the garden, unlike Cassio. Unless... The quiet and insidious voice from the garden echoed in her mind. Music. What are you doing here, you sly fox? Unless someone helped Harry get out of the garden faster. Okay, let me switch back to the other one real quick. Okay, I think we're around here. Melody found herself unable to look at the greenery any longer. She stepped away from the window and lay down on her bed. She pulled a blanket over her head. Melody could not see comfort in the god she had turned away from many years ago, but she whispered a prayer just in case. Please let Castle tell me when I wake up that Harry went to his competition and that he's alright. She was wakened early in the morning by persistent messages. Melody almost dropped her ill-fated phone in her grogginess. She brought the screen to her sleepy eyes and squinted. Ruth. I hope you remember what day it is today. Sunday. And you promised to meet me. Oh boy. Yes, Ruth, of course I remember. I'll send you the address I moved to. I'm glad you finally agreed. Melody didn't share her friend's joy, but her sense of duty was stronger. I'll suffer for an hour, but Ruth will be happy, and she'll leave me alone for at least 6 months. Melody practically crawled out of bed before waddling into the shower. She pulled on the first outfit she could grab. At least I don't have any assignments today, so I can wear something less formal. Alright. We go. Melody was dreaming of a hearty breakfast and a cup of coffee when she opened the door. She almost bumped into David as he walked toward her room. Good morning. He paused in the doorway, then winked at her mysteriously and glanced over her outfit. You look beautiful. It's like you knew where I wanted to take you. Back to the club? Even better, to court. Let's restore your good name. Her stomach immediately twisted with excitement. She suddenly lost her appetite for breakfast. And when do I need to be there? Now? David clearly didn't share her anxiety. He smiled radiantly. Just don't tell me you're worried about the process. You offend me deeply with your lack of confidence in me. Even a court-appointed lawyer wouldn't lose such an easy case. Melody disagreed, but she didn't argue. I had to pull myself together. How should I act? What should I say? Count on me, Melody. Remember, a court is a place where only lawyers should speak. You need to answer questions with one word. Yes or no. Got it? Yes. Good girl. Lord. Get your thoughts together and come downstairs. I'll be waiting for you in the car. What time are we supposed to meet Ruth? Without entering the room, David closed the door and disappeared. Melody tried to calm her heart. Okay, so I'm guessing we only see that scene if David is the one who's helping us. So it'll probably be a different scene if Filoni is doing it, maybe. And another one for Malik, maybe. This is not how I imagined this day would go. Melody had only attended hearings a few times. The first time she found herself on the witness stand was when a colleague was involved. A psychiatrist with 20 years of experience signed discharge paper for a young man, declaring him of sound mind. After leaving the hospital, the first thing the young man did was go to his ex's house and beat her to death with a kitchen hammer. They found the former patient naked and bloody on the roof of a nearby house, brandishing a murder weapon and threatening to kill anyone who dared approach him. It took 3 large police officers and a small tranquilizer syringe to subdue him. When a colleague saw the patient on the news the next morning, he immediately went to Goodland to collect his things. At the time, I felt like I would never let something like that happen. And now I'm sitting where that murderer once sat, shooting sideways glances at the jury. These people that I'm seeing for the first and probably last time must decide my fate. During the prosecutor's emotional speech, Melody alternated between sweating and shivering. The nervous, balding man appealed to the jury's sympathy, arguing that the psychiatrist's negligence had killed not only Arthur but the entire Cladis family. Are you crazy? Are you crazy? Is he accusing me of triple homicide? How did that? Bruh. The terrible accusation did not bother David in the least. When his turn came, he jumped up and addressed the jury. My client is charged with this truly serious crime of driving someone to suicide. My opponent has vividly described how terrible it was, and I agree with every word. But does that apply to my client? Without addressing anyone in particular, David paused, allowing everyone to ponder the question. First, in order to prove her guilt, you must prove the existence of systematic attempts to drive Arthur to suicide. But what do we know? The patient had already attempted suicide unsuccessfully before coming to Goodland. So to carry out her plan, as the prosecutor puts it, my client would simply have to prescribe Arthur the wrong dosage of antidepressants, or not prescribe them at all. Instead, Melody pulled him out of a noose, which brings me to my second point. Her efforts are evident in the patient's medical records. There was positive progress, all confirmed by several doctors at the hospital, as evidence of my client's diligent work. She helped Arthur overcome clinical depression, and prior to the incident, neither the patient nor his parents complained about his condition. They were completely satisfied. Mrs. Cladis was a tough woman. Like any mother, she was willing to do anything for her child. Would she have ignored poor treatment? Hardly. The wrinkles on the jurors' foreheads gradually smoothed. One last thing. Everyone here has forgotten the main question. Was there even a suicide attempt? What exactly are we accusing my client of? As you know, the patient attacked her, a fragile young woman, in cold blood. But she managed to fight back. And the people in this room who would accuse her of the crime of wanting to live? She fought and won, scaring Arthur away. And when Melody went for the door, he ran around the office crying. He was confused. Things hadn't gone according to plan. The victim escaped and was screaming for help. And what does Arthur do? Surrender? Repent? No, he runs away like a coward. Melody is already holding the doorknob. She's almost in the hallway and there are paramedics. The fear of being caught drives Arthur to freedom, to the window. 3rd floor, not that high. He may have believed that the trees would break his fall and allow him to escape in time. And he would have had a chance if he hadn't hit his head on the asphalt. The way David presented the information seemed so convincing that Melody herself began to wonder why she was sitting in the defendant's seat. If I knew what to say, I could defend myself in court. Before you make a decision, think carefully about who the real victim is here. The failed murderer, or the doctor who had already saved Arthur's life once? David sat back down. He subtly squeezed Melody's trembling hand under the table. You did great, little witch. You held up really well. As she held his hand, Melody felt exactly what he had talked about the first day they met. She really was under his protection, and it was dizzying as a kiss. He really helped me. The recess was short. Predictably, the jury sided with David and dismissed charges against Melody. Now there's no reason to revoke my license. As if reading her mind, David remarked, Your license is in your pocket. You're just one letter away from getting it back, and I'm ready to write that letter for you today. Oh, and I suggest you get insurance from the Medical Protection Society. That way next time you won't go to court at all. Oh, is that a thing? I don't even know how to thank him. Unsure how to respond, Melody gently touched David's hand. During his speech, he was so serious and composed. I never would have expected this from the same funny guy I know. David glanced down and grinned contentedly. Was it scary? Maybe at first. But as soon as he took control, I felt calm. Unable to contain himself, David intertwined their fingers. He stepped a bit closer to make sure no one else in the room could hear. A little more, and everyone would think I was just defending a client. As if he really wanted to spread these rumors, David took another step. He looks at me so tenderly, only a fool wouldn't notice that. I wouldn't want to tarnish your impeccable reputation. Do you have any ideas how to tarnish it? I do, but I'm not going to act on them. David feigned a frown and drawled. Such cruel words. It's not like we lost, did we? She desperately wanted to support his playful mood, but even more than that, she wanted to express her gratitude. He really helped me and asked for nothing in return. He's just holding my hand and turning everything into a joke. Thank you, David. Sincerely, what you did means a lot to me. It means too much to me to accidentally ruin your career with some foolishness. Melody pulled back and tried to free herself, but David stepped forward again. Let them think what they want, Melody. I don't expect any special thanks from you. I just don't want you to feel like you can't do what you want. And when you want to. Melody bit her lip and thought for a moment. Well, alright. Since you're so bold. Melody stood on her tiptoes and moved closer to David. He was intrigued by her closeness. She left a kiss on his stubbled cheek. It was tender and perhaps too long for a simple thank you. I hope this doesn't ruin your reputation. She pulled away and met his playful gaze. That's the kind of word I like. David ignored the people's narrowed eyes around him. He spoke a little louder. Perhaps you have other legal problems? Overdue parking fines, for instance? I'm willing to settle any trivial matter. I have no doubt. I suggest we discuss all your crimes at home in front of the fireplace. I'm afraid our evening will end quickly. I don't have many crimes. Don't worry, my lovely witch. If you want, I'll find something to keep you busy until dawn. I just need to remember to lock the door more securely so that none of our colleagues interrupt us. For some reason, the suggestion of this discussion made her feel hot. Is that in reference to the scene in the police station where Felonia came in? Now, I wonder if he really won't hesitate to lock himself in the sitting room with me. Mona looked at the clock and realized that she didn't have much time left. Damn, I was supposed to meet Ruth. David, honestly, this hearing came as a surprise to me. I have to run. You're slipping away once again. At least let me know who dared to steal away our victorious evening. My friend Ruth. I promised to meet her at church. No one's ever run away from me to a church before. What would you do there? Do you want to pray in advance for sins we haven't committed yet? Lord. Yet? Very confident of you. Very far-sighted. Pray hard so we have plenty of room to work with. If Ruth could hear you, she'd throw holy water on your face. It wouldn't do any good against me. I bet. He's totally a demon. His playful tone changed rather abruptly to a serious one. You do know her well, right? Yeah, she's no friend of mine. I'm definitely safe with her. Her assurances clearly didn't convince him very much, but David sighed and gave in. Let me at least call you a taxi. I'll let you do that. Let's go. After saying goodbye to David, Melody gave the taxi driver an unfamiliar address. He typed it into the GPS and shifted in his seat, making himself comfortable. They had a little over an hour to go. Oh, Ruth, where have you gone this time? What, am I supposed to meet her at her house? Okay, I'm gonna quickly check if there's a scene for Malik and Felonia, though. Try to remember where we are. Okay, at the 10. Melody was daydreaming about a hearty breakfast and a cup of coffee. She almost tripped over a large bouquet of flowers just outside her door. That's new. She barely managed to drag it into her room. Melody didn't bother to speculate as to who could have left such an unexpected gift. Instead, she immediately reached for the envelope that stuck out of the balloons. It wasn't someone else's name on the card, but her own. It was probably displayed on a brand new medical license. Malik was able to return it to me? Melody ran her eyes over the lines again and again. She couldn't believe it was true. It seemed that at any moment the letters would rearrange themselves and she would realize that she had made a mistake. But there was no mistake. He managed to do this even without my involvement? But how? Melody had no idea what connections the mysterious man had. She sank onto her bed. The events of the week made her dizzy. What could have been an incredible joy a short time ago only brought more questions today. Maybe he left some kind of note? Melody set the license down on her bedside table and began to examine the bouquet. And soon she found a small folded sheet of slightly rough, dense paper. The ornate handwriting had an elegant slant befitting its owner. It addressed her. Congratulations on reclaiming your profession, Doctor. I cannot guess what doors you would try to open with this wondrous piece of paper. Or was it all just to indulge your vanity? Or is it perhaps that you, without the title of doctor, you feel you have no significance in the world? Can't you sleep peacefully knowing that this word was taken from you instead of your colleagues? Are you simply unable to let go of what once belonged to you? Are you angry, burning with injustice? Which of the sins fits you best? Pride, envy, wrath? A little bit of everything. I hope you're not offended by my words. After all, I'm not trying to hurt you, just to understand. I accept you, Melody, with all your flaws. Whatever led you to strike a deal with me and compromise your moral principles, I respect that. You didn't just accept the offer. You bit the outstretched hand and didn't loosen your grip until you got what you wanted. And I'll be honest, your teeth on me felt good. Bro, get out of here. Melody couldn't help but conjure up the mental image his words described. She blushed. It's a shame our correspondence has ended so soon. But perhaps you still have time to get yourself dirty. And if you do, you know where to find me. Don't forget, Melody, I'm not afraid of dirt. I don't like things that are too clean. They reek of boredom and hypocrisy. So don't be afraid to show me your true face. P.S. Curiosity overwhelms me, but this time I must refrain. I want nothing in exchange for returning your license. Deep down, I still hope we will meet again, but this time I leave it all to chance. And whatever fate has in store for us today, let this be my parting gift to you. The last line made Melody wonder. We won't see each other again? The thought brought... Wait, so she's either relieved that they won't see each other again or excited that they won't see each other again? I think I'm confused, but I think I'm confused on the choice here. I feel like relief would be bad, though. Especially on a Malik route, so let's just say excitement. Okay, she didn't want to say goodbye to Malik. I hope we meet again. But I get to know Malik better. The unexpected gift threw her off balance. And what am I going to do with myself now? After eating breakfast and wandering aimlessly around the room, Melody finally called a taxi. I'd rather spend a little more time with Ruth. Okay, so this should lead us back into her getting into the car. Melody threw a pensive glance at the mansion and gave the driver an unfamiliar address. And then they should settle in. A little over an hour. Where have you gone? 10 minutes. Okay, I'm gonna check for Felonious. Okay, so interestingly enough, there was no scene for Felonia. So I guess that'll maybe come later. I don't know. 10 minutes into the monotonous drive, Melody felt herself drifting off to sleep. The landscape outside the car window remained unchanged. The narrow road led them further away from the bustling city. Melody awoke abruptly as the car screeched to a long halt. Melody stepped out of the car and looked around. She was in a dense forest with a barely visible overgrown path. It didn't inspire confidence. A huge fallen tree blocked the driver's path, adding to the strangeness. What kind of wilderness is this? More importantly, why did you get out of the car? The tall grass was untouched by tires. It swayed rhythmically, creating whispering doubts. Maybe I got the wrong address? The driver tapped his finger at the GPS. He explained the village was about a half a mile away, but he couldn't go any further for obvious reasons. And obviously nobody has been here. Did they just say that there wasn't any tire tracks? So there's no way that she was expecting me to actually make it to this church. Just to be sure, Melody checked the map on her phone. There was no mistake. The driver shrugged and suggested they turn back, but she hesitantly declined. As she watched the car drive away, she clutched the phone in her hand. Is she out of her mind? I just said that we're used to kind of sometimes on the same wavelength, but this is going back into her goofy phase. Why? Why? You know that people are out to attack you. And you decide to get out of the car in the middle of nowhere? You could have had Ruth meet you somewhere else. I'm like, well, you come to me because I don't know where you are. Or I definitely would have called her before I let him drive away. I'd be like, hey, Roseblock, what the heck are you doing? If Ruth doesn't show up here right now, I better call the taxi driver and ask him to turn around. Um, you should have let him leave. But a familiar redhead appeared from behind the trees. Melody breathed a sigh of relief and put her phone away. I wouldn't put your phone away. Melody, darling. Where are we? What is this? Ruth. The women quickened their pace and jumped into each other's arms, ignoring the obstacle that separated them. It's been so long since I've seen you, Melody. Ruth held her friend by the shoulders and stepped back to gaze at her radiant face. You look wonderful. Did you get here all right? Just fine. And you're getting further and further away from the city, aren't you? I don't like all that noise, and this is a very small, quiet village. If you go to the central square, you can see all the buildings. Sounds, wonderful. I guess you really found out what you were dreaming of, huh? Yes, this really is the place, Melody. I feel good here, and I'm glad you agreed to come. Ruth pulled away from her friend and glanced down unhappily. We still haven't moved this tree. There was a strong storm last week and it knocked down a lot of them. It's alright, I'll climb over it. Melody grabbed a protruding branch and jerked her hand away in disgust. The rotten bark of the tree stuck to her palm, revealing an unpleasant sight. A damp, exposed trunk crawling with insects. Rotten? I thought she said it went down last week. Should it be rotten already? Did it rot that much in a week, right? It feels like it's been lying here for at least a year. Ruth noticed Melody's confusion and held out her hand. Grab on. Melody slid on the slippery log. She managed to overcome the obstacle and jumped down to the ground. Tried to brush the dirt off her clothes, but only smeared it more. Great. Let's go. I'll find you something to change into. Melody caught up with her friend. She tried to see where the path led, but saw nothing. How far is it to the village? Not far. About half a mile. The barely visible trail made it look like no tires had ever touched it. It was hard to even call it trodden. The infrastructure here isn't that great, is it? Not many people leave the village. We have everything we need here. The familiar phrase made the forest seem a little darker, as if she didn't spend enough of her childhood in a world limited by strict rules. Now she's locking herself up into something similar again? I guess maybe like the familiarity. It's different here. Melody gave Ruth a wry smile, pretending she wasn't thinking about that very thing at all. The fresh air and the quiet, I like it. After walking in silence for a while, Melody couldn't stand it anymore. They hadn't seen each other for so long that silence felt like something wrong. Sorry for disappearing after that incident. I needed some time alone. You don't have to apologize. I feel bad that I pushed you so hard that you had to change your address. Ruth, you know I changed it because of the reporters, not because of you. Ruth pressed her lips together and frowned. You could have told me that the new one, but I understand. The important thing is that we finally met up. The rest doesn't matter anymore. Melody didn't want to justify her reclusiveness, so she changed the subject. Thanks for asking Melody to help me. He's a wonderful man, and he would never refuse to help me. Melody could barely contain the curiosity that threatened to burst out of her, tried to approach the subject carefully. I almost forgot that he taught at our uni. Ruth smiled sadly and changed the subject. Did you get your license back? Someone else returned it to me. Did he refuse to help you? Surprised, Ruth raised her eyebrows and slowed her pace. He helped me with something else, and he would have gotten my license back, I'm sure. I see. Sometimes I feel like the only way to see him more is to get in trouble more. The bitterness in her voice said more than she intended. Ruth? I'm kidding, of course. Ruth turned away and walked a little faster. Poor thing, I should talk about something else. I'll ask about. Uh, Tell me about this place. It's a pretty old village. There's not much to tell. I can tell you a local legend. Go ahead. They say that in the 17th century, all of its inhabitants disappeared, and the village was abandoned for a long time. It was not until close to the 20th century that it was repopulated. Melody's jaw dropped in surprise. She could barely find the words. Not much to tell, you say. It's just a legend, Melody. I think there was a bad harvest year and people had to leave. Nothing edible grows here now, and you can't look at our vegetable gardens without crying. And how do you have everything you need here then? Are you eating enough? What are you eating? What do you eat then if you don't leave the village much? We have very deep cellars and a lot of supplies. What are you stocking up for? Where'd you get it from? It's been a while since we've seen each other. You must have a lot of news. There's a reason I went to a place where nothing happens. Aren't you bored? I'm peaceful. If I wanted fun, I'd get a job at the Astrea Detective Agency. Mona smiled crookedly, appreciating the joke. Sometimes it's even too much fun. Do you go to local church now? Yes. We'll go to the service together this evening. Will it be interesting? You'll like it. Maybe you even want to stay here with me forever. No. That's highly unlikely. Bruce gently took her by the arm and smiled. Never say never, Melody. Her creepy Get me out of here. The woman continued walking in silence until they reached the main square. Tell me, at this point, would you not have turned around? Been like, sorry, can't do it. I'm calling a taxi. Gotta go. Nah. Nope. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. Especially because this is giving me major vibes like the last village that we went to in what, episode 4? Mm-mm. The village wasn't as tiny as Ruth described. The windows of the houses in the square faced them, creating the impression that they were on a stage. How was it that after our childhood, Ruth found the strength to settle in such a place? This is where festivals are usually held. Vendors sell things and people walk around. Do you know all the residents here? No, of course not. But there aren't many of them. 1,052 people. Melody's smile was strange. She tried to pretend to enjoy the whole thing. Ruth has always been like this. It's no surprise that this place attracted her. A young man approached them. He smiled brightly, then addressed Ruth. Hey, sunshine. I see your friend has finally found her way to us. Oh, hell no. Nope. Mm-mm. No. Sunshine? The man pecked Ruth on the cheek, then held out his hand. I'm friends. Nice to meet you. Mm-mm. Mother shook his hand and looked around. A huge wooden church towered like a giant against the backdrop of tiny houses. Some passerby cast curious glances at the guests. Most of them were busy with their daily tasks and simply walked by. Come, I'll help you settle in. On the way to the hotel, friends asked questions but didn't really listen to the answers. As soon as Melody fell silent, he asked the next question, but wouldn't follow up on any of those topics. Like a cardboard cutout of friendliness. Her temporary shelter was a small 3-story hotel that had seen better days. Is that dust flying through the air? Why is it smoky? The inside smelled of old age. It was an odor that no amount of chemicals could remove. The room itself could pass for a historical relic, were it not for the small TV set tucked modestly in the corner. Looks like this place hasn't been renovated in decades. Make yourself at home. No, I don't need to stay there long. Call the receptionist if you need anything. In the meantime, I prepared for the evening service. Once left alone with her friend, Melody gave in to her anxious, curious desire to ask questions. Prepare? Is he the pastor? Yes, the best in his field. Melody chose her words carefully. She didn't want to accidentally offend her old friend. And what does that entail? The ability to lead others by his example? The ability to lead others to God, Melody. Ruth straightened out a freshly washed sheet. She approached the window and adjusted the already perfectly ironed curtain. Do you really expect me to stay here? I hope you stay the night, then we'll see what happens. Melody hadn't planned to spend the night here at all, but when she remembered the fallen tree, she realized that she wouldn't be able to leave this place late in the evening. Looks like I really have to stay overnight. Ruth rummaged through the closet and pulled out a simple dress. She placed it on the bed. There's a bathroom behind this door. You can freshen up, change, and relax. I hope the others can come back for you later, alright? Alright, Ruth. Don't get bored, dear. I'll be back soon. Ruth quietly closed the door behind her as she walked silently across the creaky parquet floor of the hallway. Melody sat on the bed and sighed heavily. Her childish desire to be home right now irritated her with its impracticality. It is not childish. You should listen to that desire way back before the taxi driver even drove off. I refused to come here so many times. What was stopping me from refusing again? Melody nudged the faded carpet grimly with the toe of her shoe. She thought of Astrea. I'd rather sit in the garden and argue with Cassio than go through all this. The thought of the man reminded her that it wouldn't hurt to let someone know that she'd be sleeping elsewhere tonight. Thank you. A touch of rationality. Whose playthrough is this? Is this Mikkel's? It's Mikkel's. I'll call him. It's important to Mikkel that doesn't worry. Meld out the right number, then listen to the rough buzz and crackle. Oh my gosh. Of course there's no reception out here. But if there's no reception, then how has she been texting me? What, did she walk a half mile up to the road, then text? I'm struggling a bit more. The connection cut off on its own. I'll send a text. Maybe it'll get through. I'm not staying at Astrea tonight. I'm fine. The place is remote and the connection is bad. Melody thought for a moment. She decided to send the address as well, just in case. After placing the phone on the bedside table, Melody stood up. She pulled out the dress Ruth had left behind and grimaced. David would faint if he saw me in this. Melody clutched the fabric. She prudently decided to latch the door. It wouldn't hurt to wash the dirt off. Spent a good half hour relaxing in the surprisingly cozy and spacious bathroom before returning to the bedroom. I'm going to call this a terribly boring vacation. Is your phone still there? Mel wasn't sure how to occupy herself, so she lay down in the bed and turned on the TV. The cable here didn't work much better than the cell phone service. The video feed was tricky and kept cutting out. Charming. Melanie grew annoyed as she flipped through the channels before finally setting on one with a relatively clear picture. She ended up watching a news program. Well, let's hear what's happening in the world. The image of the news anchor kept freezing. The ends of their sentences were cut short by choppy connection. Still, they managed to get the main point across every now and then. Behind the heavy curtain, the first dull drops of rain began to tap on the window pane. Well, the rain doesn't last too long. No one will come to this remote place in bad weather. Melody worried that she would be stuck here for more than one night. She approached the window and pulled the thick fabric aside. A bright flash of light struck her eyes as if in greeting. Interference lessened, either due to the lightning or something else. The audio became clear. The voice of the news anchor became louder and more confident. It remains unknown exactly where he is hiding. Is that Philip? That's Philip Moore. I can see his picture there on the TV. Melody grabbed the remote and pointed at the TV. The image drifted across the screen in waves. She couldn't bring herself to press the button. Painfully familiar eyes peered from the streaks of static and disappeared. Anyone with information about the whereabouts of Philip Moore is urged to contact the police. Still frozen with her arm outstretched, Melody stared unblinkingly ahead. Now only one image remained in front of her eyes. Moore's on the loose. I need to warn my colleagues. Melody rushed to the bedside table and froze again. Her phone wasn't there. You didn't check when you got back. Typical. Didn't I put it here? Melody spun around in confusion. She caught a glimpse of the door. The chain she distinctly remembered inserting into the latch was dangling, unlocked. She pulled a hand on to get out, but she couldn't open the door. What the hell is going on? Should never let that taxi driver drive away. That was your first mistake. Might be your last. Hold the handle again, calm down. Yelling is not going to help. Only people it's going to bring to you are the people who definitely locked you in this room. Okay. Let's settle down. Melody went to stand by the windows, tried to calm down and think rationally. There must be some mistake. There's no mistake. But we need to think about how the hell to get out of here. Maybe someone really broke into the room, robbed me, and locked me in to get a head start. Ruth will be here soon, and her friend can check the hotel cameras to see who was here. I need to get out of here. I can't stay here forever. She did not stay in the room for long before the door opened for her. Ruth looked cautiously at her friend and stepped inside. What's going on? Ruth hastily closed the door behind her and leaned her back against it. You're ready. Great. Is this some kind of joke? Someone locked me in and my phone is missing. I'm not in the mood to attend service. I've got your phone. Calm down. Why did you break into the room, steal my phone, and lock it? Her friend's words did not calm her. Why did you take it? To see what you know? It turns out that you're not as naive as friends said. You're hunting the beast yourself. It's stupid, but it deserves respect. Excuse me? I'm talking about the mark of the beast in your phone. You're really connected to him. It's amazing. Wait, the picture I took in Raphael's office? I mean, his bedroom? Melody took an involuntary step back. The icy chill of realization ran down her spine. Ruth, who are you praying to here? Prayers. Not a single one of my prayers was answered by God, yet I spent my entire childhood kneeling before him. No, we do not pray here. We praise. But for what? She received no answer to her question. Ruth advanced to her predatorily like a cat ready to pounce. After everything they've done to us, Melody, after everything we've been through, don't you want to start with a clean slate? Melody really wanted to grab her friend and give her a good shake, but right now it's more important to get out of the room. Ruth, this isn't a clean slate. You're going to cover it with blood and write over it. Your new world will be built on bones and ashes. So be it. That's the way things are built, Melody. There are always sacrifices to be made. By me? I never agreed to this, Ruth. If you want to stick your neck through a noose, go ahead. Melody, you don't understand. It was all preordained. You were born sinful, and you must present your sin as a gift to our new God. It's just nonsense. I have to stop this and run while she's the only one here before a friend shows up. Okay, so this time I have 42. You persuade her you need 36 faith. What happens if you don't have the faith? Do you put the punch her in the face? Because I kind of rather that route. I really want to punch her in the face. I've been wanting to punch her in the face. I was trying to be nice. Girl's sick in the head. Always has been. Ruth, what you're doing has nothing to do with God. Every step you take sends you drifting further away from him. I think that's what she says she wanted, though. We have a new God, Melody. He loves us as his children. He doesn't treat us like his slaves. Feels like they're reading Christian literature backwards here. A parent who allows everything? What's good about that? He indulges your passions only to have you burn in a fiery hell for your weakness. Ruth grinned crookedly and muttered through her teeth. What do you know about that? Ruth, I know what I'm talking about. I heard my mom. She spoke to me, I swear to you. She's in hell, she's suffering. She told me that the beast is close. And he's not just coming for me, he's coming for all of us, and everyone will burn for their sins. With every word she spoke, Melody felt herself begin to believe it too. Ruth had not expected such a speech from her skeptical friend. She stammered, "You're lying. God exists, Ruth, and you are testing his patience while the devil prepares a cauldron for you. Come with me. Come to Astrea. They know a lot more about the beast than you do. They'll help. Your God is a bloodthirsty monster. He won't stop at me. Let's go. I'll show you a box full of pictures of his victims, men, women, children. He spares no one." Ruth frowned and glanced nervously over her shoulder as if looking for invisible support. Melody took advantage of her momentary confusion. Melody grabbed Ruth's hand and dragged her out into the street. Ruth ran out into the square, then stopped abruptly. She grabbed Melody's hand. "Run to the tree, Melody. I'll tell the others that you escaped. I'll lead them in the opposite direction. Go as far as you can. Don't walk on the road. Hide in the forest. When you see headlights, come out only when they flash 3 times. Got it?" There's no way she has that much power here. Not a chance. What time is it? Oh. Crap. Okay. I need to wrap this up. I gotta go. Okay, let me see. Okay. In case this works, let me try to remember what she's saying here. Not on the road, hide in the forest, headlights, 3 flashes. Do my best. Yes. Ruth hugged her friend fervently, then pulled away guiltily. "Forgive me." Without waiting for a response, she nudged Melody in the right direction. Honestly, Ruth has always been off kilter, and they just used her. They straight up used her, and it's sick. The whole thing is sick. And Melody ran. Okay, so I cannot persuade her, so we panic. Don't delay the inevitable, Melody. Either you go willingly or you'll be dragged by force. Choose. No way, I'm not giving up just like that. Lock her up or try to slip away. Lock her up. Without a moment's hesitation, Melody ran for the exit. Predictably, Ruth barked her path. "Melody, don't be foolish. You can't hide from me in this room." Melody slowly backed away and moved aside. She grabbed a hefty figurine from the table and hurled it at her friend. "Ruth, if you think I'm going to willingly join another bunch of fanatics, you're out of your mind." Ruth dodged a flying object. She immediately lunged forward, trying to grab Melody. "Ruth, you're not thinking clearly. We barely escaped one cult that almost killed us, and now you're joining another? You need help." This time, Ruth's hands found their target. She grabbed Melody by the hair and pulled her in with all her might. Then, Ruth knocked her to the ground and sat on top of her. Uh-oh. Damn it. Intoxicated with fear and anger, Melody didn't just see Ruth in front of her. She saw her patient and the entire cult, too, and she didn't hesitate to act. I guess I'm destined to go to jail for exceeding the limits of necessity and defense. Melody reached for the fallen figurine nearby and struck Ruth on the head with all her strength. Ooh! The fragile Ruth immediately went limp. Melody got up and checked Ruth's pulse. Once satisfied with her friend's steady breathing, she rifled through Ruth's pockets. There you are. Great. My phone? Oh, that too. Stay here and think about your behavior, Ruth. I'll call the cops in the meantime. Ruth groaned heavily and sat up. She leaned against the edge of the bed. She's already up? The police. History repeats itself, doesn't it? You choose their side. You chose their side. You want to slaughter us like a flock of sheep. I don't know if you're not aware of what they plan to do to me here, which is to sacrifice me. I'm pretty sure that's what you signed me up for here. So, you don't really have room to talk there? Melody could barely resist the urge to give her friend one last good kick. Before she walked away, she shouted, I chose the side of the living, like any normal person would. Melody locked the now fully recovered Ruth inside, then rushed out into the street. Okay. Melody ran into the square, then hesitated for a moment. Where to now? Without thinking twice, Melody rushed back to where she came from and headed toward the forest. The ominous silence around her created a sense of impending doom. Each step echoed loudly across the empty square. Melody slowed her pace and walked quietly, blending into the shadows. Better to be unnoticed and fast. She gave me back my phone, by the way? Monsters, however, are known to lurk in the shadows. As soon as she walked into the darkness, an old acquaintance stepped out to meet her. Philip. Where do you think you're going? Moore came a little closer. His smile was oily. It's so gratifying to realize that I will be the one to help complete the ritual. It will be my name that the beast is grounded into the history of the new world. It won't be a new world. You'll just be dead, idiot. The pounding of her heart drowned out his words, but Melody was driven by sheer animal fear. She didn't even try to understand what he was saying. More. One more step and I'll scream. That's not going to work for you here, honey. Oh, I'm counting on it. But save your voice for the beginning of the ceremony. When I pick up the knife, you'll need it. An old man looked out of the house across the street. When Melody saw him, she took a deep breath and screamed at the top of her lungs. He doesn't care. They're all in on it. Call the police. There's an escaped criminal. The man's eyes darted around in fear and stopped on Moore. Get in the house. Old man slammed the door shut and disappeared. Is Moore in charge here? The man's voice was nothing like the one Melody had heard in the club. There was no uncertainty or submissiveness in it. It was firm and threatening. Fight, flight, freeze. We go. Melody ran backwards. She didn't even hear his footsteps behind her. Moore caught up with her immediately. He grabbed her waist with one hand and pulled her toward him. He pressed himself against her like a passionate lover. Ew. He gasped with laughter and whispered right in her ear. We're going the other way, Melody. Melody knew exactly what awaited her. She clenched her jaw. I'd rather die by trying to escape here than by being tortured there. Melody waited for the right moment and stomped on Moore's foot as hard as she could. Moore's grip loosened, allowing her to break free and bolt away. I could chase you forever, but we're needed elsewhere. Melody managed to reach a small house before Moore displayed his ability again, and in one leap he was right beside her. She clung to a dirty windowsill and tried to reach for the window, to knock on it, to break it, whatever. This time the man didn't hesitate. Melody felt a heavy hand on her head and saw the dirty wall coming fast toward her face, and then everything faded. Ugh. Wake up, sleepyhead. The gentle voice enveloped her in warmth, making her reluctant to open her eyes. Let her ask me again. Wake up. The voice distorted, becoming louder and more demanding. Wake up, you brat, or you miss all the fun. Ew. Why is there blood all over the floor? Seems awfully messy. Melody opened her eyes and immediately squeezed them shut again. The icy floor burned her skin even through thick fabric. Her body felt stiff and she had a splitting headache. How did I get myself into this mess? Because you didn't get back into the taxi when you should have. Why did you walk out there? Why did you let him drive away? Unreal. Even when that girl said it would be a half mile that way, I'd have been like, nah, I'm out. As soon as she described that all the people disappeared from the village, I would have been out. So many times. Bash her head against a tree if I had to. I don't care. No way you get all the way here. The only reason she's here is because of the plot. There's no way. This girl is that stupid. No way. The room she had been thrown into looked like a church, but it was clearly not being used for its intended purpose. Bastards, untie me and let's talk man to man. Harry, shut up. A familiar voice made her look up toward the light. Damn, there you are, Harry. Melody had no time to feel guilty about finding her. Guilty? She told him to be careful. Her conscience was lost in a world with a much stronger emotion at this moment. He left. He made a choice. I warned him, and that's that. Listen, hey, if we can help each other get out of here, great. But I'm not gonna feel guilty that he's here. We told him people were after him. Clearly didn't take that seriously enough. I mean, I know it was hard to believe. They're a bunch of strangers. Weirdos at that. Harry was tied like cattle by the arms and neck. He stood in the center of a symbol drawn in red paint on the ground. Or blood. Are you awake? Wonderful. Moore picked her up by the scruff of her neck like a kitten. He placed her on her feet next to him. Her legs felt like jelly and she was dizzy. That's a hell of a punch he gave me. Franz walked up next to Harry with a knife. Let the blood boil in his veins. Let the sea be troubled and wash away all that lies in your path, O great one, and never again shall it be called. Franz accompanied each sentence with long, deep cuts on Harry's body. Dark blood oozed from them. The man seemed to feel no fear. His eyes were clouded with rage, and each cut only seemed to fuel it. Let the fire all-consuming and greedy never go out. Let hearts and flesh burn in it. Long live the new world, built on the ashes of dry bones of the faithful and unfaithful alike. 100 figures approached Harry from both sides. They cut the ropes and forced him to kneel before the burning altar. Melody was distracted by the bleeding, weakened Harry. She wasn't sure when or where Franz had gotten the long piece of iron that glowed red in his hands. He's branding him now, and then it's my turn. Did you know that his father killed his mother? He beat her to death over a glance at another man. Sudden realization didn't stir much in Melody at the moment. She was more concerned about herself. Does he want to talk? Talk. Almost instinctively, Melody glanced at Moore. She spoke in a voice that trembled with fear. How was it Harry's fault? Fault? Then it's a punishment? It's an honor! His father's action prepared the fertile ground, and now Harry is paying for his sins. And he's paying not to God, but to the whole world, to me, to you, to all of us. So is punishment. Idiot. I don't understand what you mean. Because you're a stupid rat, Melody. You were born for one purpose, to bleed yourself dry. That's all that's needed from you. Melody stared intently into the murderer's eyes. She did hear her best to ignore Harry's prolonged groans. I barely have a chance to distract him by talking. So why don't you do the honors yourself and stand in a circle instead of me? You think no one here would slit their throat for a higher purpose? Unfortunately, the beast needs you and Harry specifically. Just don't get too proud. You have no merit in this. The only thing outstanding about you is your father's blood filled with his sins. Melody turned away. She ground her teeth to keep from shaking so much. So people are killed based off of the sin of their father? Harry was curled up as if in his prayer, his head almost touched. Why not just take the father? Like the guy from the menu, the restaurant guy. Like, my father is dead. Maybe Harry's father's dead or in prison. I don't know. But, like, why not take the one who sinned, actually? Why their kid? Like, I don't get it. His head almost touched the floor. Like, if it's the sins that you want to be paid for, why not the person who did it? I don't know. I guess I don't think I want to understand. The acolytes pulled at his shoulders to expose his chest, but suddenly he straightened up on his own. Because either way, it's madness. It makes no sense. Either way. He used something to slash the man standing to his right in the shin, then jumped to his feet. He knocked out the person standing to his left with a precise blow, then grabbed the wounded man and held a blade to his throat. Don't come any closer. Oh my gosh. They sliced him up so bad. But, newsflash, they don't care about that person's life though, so be careful. He managed to sneak in a weapon? Did he prepare for this? Oh, it was because we warned him? Harry staggered like a drunk from the loss of blood. He pressed the acolyte against him with his last ounce of strength. I'm leaving with him. They'll kill him too. Franz lowered the glowing iron and shrugged. Go. Nothing by his carefree tone, Franz didn't believe in Harry's chances of getting out. And Melody is coming with me. I don't think so. Harry, please contact the people at Astrea. Call them as soon as you get a chance. Harry nodded and walked back toward the exit, his gaze fixed on the frozen acolytes. The two wounded men disappeared into the darkness of the archway, leaving trails of blood behind them. He can call for help if he makes it. If he doesn't die of blood loss first. Once he convinced Harry to prepare for the attack, now he has a chance to survive. Well, let's not stop Harry from drenching our church with his blood. We'll pick him up later. Several figures left the hall, slowly following the boxer. It's like vultures waiting for a corpse. You, Melody, will have to enter a circle out of turn. Moore wrapped his fingers around Melody's delicate neck and dragged her forward. Her feet slipped in the scarlet puddles, but the man's iron grip kept her from falling. Moore pushed her to her knees. He crouched beside her and drew a thin, elegant dagger. I can't die like this. Plead, threaten, spit in his face. Patooey. Burn in hell, Moore. Still smiling, the man wiped his face with the back of his hand. I'll gladly meet you there again and continue our games. They didn't bother to tie her up like Harry. Franz stood beside her and Moore. He gently ran his hand over the head of his new victim. Melody shook her head to dislodge his hand. She almost growled. Don't touch me. Franz ignored her words as if she were not a human but an animal. He spoke. That's the way he sees you. Compel and command, O Great One. Let the whole world kneel before you, and those who do not submit to your will should become dust beneath your feet. The words were clearly different from the ones Franz had spoken when he cut Harry, but Melody didn't listen any further. As soon as the knife touched her cheek, all words lost their meaning. The only feeling left in the world was pain. The acolytes held her down on her knees. They gripped her hands tightly and pulled them to the side to give more and more room to work. Come to us, sit at our table, taste our flesh, drink our blood. Blood oozed from the small cuts, mixing with the blood Harry had left behind. Moore made no attempt to hide his pleasure. He genuinely enjoyed the process, wielding the dagger like a paintbrush. The blade went deep into her wrist, then slowly rose up forearm, slicing through veins. Melody moaned in pain and trembled, then lost all feeling in her right arm. Melody was both mentally and physically exhausted. She looked around the hall with a hazy gaze. I hope you're not calling for God, because in this world, it's Sheffa, and he ain't gonna do crap for you. Never has. She wanted more than anything to be somewhere else for a moment, away from here. At least not to die here, not surrounded by these monsters to whom I am nothing but a piece of meat. Melody closed her eyes and thought of... This is Mikhail's route? And I guess another is Malik. She imagined his cool hand on her blood-stained face. The pain will soon pass. Just hold on a little longer. His eyes went red again. Melody mentally curled up into a ball in the leather chair in his office and began to wait. She waited for his words to come true and for the pain to fade. As you face death, you think of Mikhail. Even his cold heart could hardly bear this. Melody closed her eyes and thought of David. Melody mentally sat down at the bar and reached out with her blood-stained hand. Without asking anything, David placed a glass of whiskey in front of her. Her fingers would not obey. Her severed nerves prevented her from gripping the glass firmly. David helped her and brought the glass to her parched lips. We'll kill them all, little witch. Just wait for us, please. As you face death, you think of David. This is more important than any confession. Melody closed her eyes and thought of Cassio. Melody pictured the garden, quiet and peaceful. She sat down on the bench by the statue and waited. As always, as if answering her call, Cassio stepped forward and sat beside her. You're strong, Melody. You're much stronger than you think, and you'll get through this. Melody believed his words. She clenched her jaw tighter. As you face death, you think of Cassiel. If he knew this, he would wish that he's opened up to you sooner. Melody closed her eyes and thought of Felonia. Her thoughts took her to the police station. Melody slumped in a chair, exhausted. She rested her head on Felonia's desk. Fel stood by her side and gently stroked her head. She whispered softly and tenderly, like a lullaby. In this dark world, you're like a ray of light, Melody. Don't let the darkness consume you, please. As you face death, you think of Felonia. This could restore her faith in others. Melody closed her eyes and thought of another. Malik. Ruth. She pictured herself in his office. She was surprised by her choice to find a refuge, but no less than the owner of the room. Of all the possible options, you chose this. I feel like he's breaking the fourth wall. Stop. I can hardly brighten your last moments. Never seen his face like that. As you face death, you think of Malik. This would give him a lot to think about. Her consciousness slipped away with the blood that poured from her. This is all so stupid. I wonder what the other ones say. I'll find out later. I'll add them in. I have to go. Oh, yeah. So late. Okay. Friends opposed to altar and prepared the metal for the branding. Her heart, already pounding from what was happening, beat even harder, her tongue dry as sandpaper. Why can't I just pass out? Her head spun harder, blending the background and the acolytes into a blurry mess. Only Mora's bloodthirsty face flickering in front of her, bloodthirsty eyes flickering in front of her face remained clear. His final incision to her neck seemed fatal. The world around her finally began to fall into darkness. But through the encroaching salvation of darkness, light unexpectedly broke through. Melody blinked and stared up at the source of a strange glow on the ceiling. Huh? Is that God? Has it come to take me away? Melly wanted to reach out to the light, but her mutilated limbs were unresponsive to her brain's impulses. I'm here. But she wasn't the only one who saw the deity. Everyone present suddenly lost interest in their victim and looked upward. Did they see him too? Without the support of the acolyte's firm grip, Melody collapsed listlessly on her side. She lay in a pool of blood, hers and Harry's, and stared unblinkingly to the source of light. She prayed for the salvation of her soul and for deliverance from her body, a shell that was causing her unbearable pain. Melody no longer saw what was happening around her. One of the acolytes recoiled, but most of them froze and looked at each other in fear. No one understood what was happening until Moore finally spoke. The beast. He has come to us. Everyone in the hall simultaneously fell to their knees and raised their hands to the ceiling. We've been waiting for you, waiting for so long. We've been preparing your new kingdom for your arrival. Dirty, spineless creatures. A familiar voice brought Melody back to reality. Is that Raphael? Your place is in the darkness you so eagerly seek. Oh wait, the voice. Is it the voice that we heard in the forest, in the garden? Molly stared mostly. Oh no, it's Raphael. It kind of looks like him, but I wasn't sure. Marilyn still endears belief at Raphael, who hovered high above them all. His outstretched hand trembled. He was shaking all over with barely contained rage. Melody could have sworn that amidst the white light, she could see wings behind his back. Please remember that. Don't dismiss it out of turn. Tell them to give you the answers. So look upon the light you refuse for the last time and live in darkness. The glow around Raphael intensified, pulsing at the tips of his fingers. The acolytes realized that it wasn't their forgiving God who had appeared to them. They held up their arms more forcefully. They wailed. Now real prayers rang out within the walls of the church. It turned out that the heretics knew them after all, but Raphael didn't hear them. Let the hell you seek come to you. The radiance flickered one last time, then it burst like a bubble, flooding the entire church. Melody squinted, drowning in the screams and pleas that filled the room. It felt like she was screaming too, but it all merged into a cacophony. Melody. A voice thundered in her head, forcing her to come to her senses. Melody opened her eyes wide. She felt an unbearable heat. The light had turned into red flames that engulfed the church. Acolytes cried and screamed. They tried to escape the fire, but they couldn't find a way out. The eyes of the people leaked out, their faces adorned with terrible burns. In a single second, the room turned into a veritable hell on earth. People with empty eye sockets stumbled over each other. They're all blinded. Melody whimpered softly in horror. She closed her eyes again and tried to cover her ears, but she couldn't. Her sense of reason refused to comprehend what was happening. It slowly drifted away, along with the remnants of blood that still seeped from her wounds. Finally, just as she was about to lose her sanity, her mind had mercy on her. It allowed her to sink into darkness. Leaving the burning village and its inhabitants behind, Raphael ascended into the sky. He held Melody close to him. Just don't die, do you hear me? We'll be home soon. I can't even begin to unpack. That was horrific. That was so gruesome. Oh my god. I'm still kind of in shock. I don't even know what to think. Okay. Anyway, it's past 3 o'clock. I have to go pick up my daughter, so I'm gonna go. And I'm gonna cuddle my daughter because I'm scared. I was genuinely terrified. I'm now nervous to start the next season, but I certainly will, because will they explain themselves? Will they try to explain this away? I don't know. It's interesting. Why was Raphael the one to come? I don't know. Or maybe he saw something based off of all the choices. Maybe he saw something bad happen to me. He just kind of rushed off to come and rescue me. So that could potentially be why. Whatever. Oh my goodness. That was a lot. Anyway, yeah. So I have to go. But that was a lot. I'm going to add in the other ones. Probably you'll see them. Me thinking of the other people so we can see how that goes, what they say or whatever. But wow, anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed this episode, go ahead and show the like button, some love, subscribe to see more content like this, and I will see you next time. Bye!